Charlotte's made it 6 points in 5 days. Can we make it 9 in a week? Find out this and more on Charlotte for the Week. What is up, beautiful people? Happy Friday, everybody's favorite day of the week. Why? Well, end of the work week, sure, but also get to come watch us again. Been a couple weeks, obviously off last week with the vacation for Gabby and I. Lovely vacation. We just had a great conversation about it, right? Kind of kidding. But anyway, yeah, hope everybody's had a good time. I know you guys have missed the video, so definitely looking forward to bringing this one to you because, well, why, Gabby, it's been a good week for Charlotte, right? Kind of a turnaround. Nice couple of wins under our belts that we'll talk about here in a second. So I guess kind of jump right in, right? Tell us what's going on.
I mean, we both were there last night. I guess last night Charlotte and DC played.
Yeah.
Was that Charlotte? DC?
New jerseys, new unis. You can check out the new scarf with it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely looked really good on the field. And then before that, we played New York City FC. Won that one as well, 2-0. So, a sweet clean sweep. I mean, last night against DC, it was 2-1. So definitely hate to see us getting scored on once. But I mean, hey, you know what? Don't call it a comeback yet.
It's 6 points. Yeah, that's all we really care about at the end of the day. We're back at home. We're back winning games. I'm in a good mood. I may not sound like it. I'm still.
I know.
Gabby says I sound normal. I feel like I still am recovering from yelling last night at the game. So if I sound hoarse over the airways or whatever the heck you call them, then apologies. But yeah, just from the game last night. But yeah, to kind of put a bow on it, obviously, again, 2 games, 2 dubs for the boys in black and blue, or last night in yellow and blue, the Carolina Lightning kid, or the Heritage kid as they called it. But yeah, 2 games. The scoreline kind of, I would say deferred from what actually happened on the field in both. So we beat NYCFC on Saturday 2-0. That game was not very pretty, in my opinion, right? So there was, just to kind of quickly recap that one, that was I called it a survive and advance game. I mean, we won 2-0. Sure, we got the clean sheet, which looks great, but just in my opinion, we were still committing way too many errors in the game. I mean, it felt like we were just kind of sitting back and taking it from NYCFC. They just could not convert a lot of the opportunities. Obviously, got the victory. I thought big time, your guy, Vargas, he came into the game in that one and played really well, scored a goal actually kind of to close the game to make it 2-0. They played well on offense in the game, the good build-up, but again, the same kind of now characteristic mistakes that Charlotte has made at the back. Kalina made a huge one. Thank God Melanda was back there, made a huge save off of the line. But yeah, I would say overall, I would rate that game maybe a 5 out of 10 for Charlotte. They didn't play that great at the end of the day, but they got the W because they have a guy on their team named Pep Biel, right? That kind of helped. He was the difference. Him and Zaha, I thought, played really well up top as they've played pretty much all year. But then last night, again, the score was much closer, 2-1 versus 2-0. But that was as dominant a game as we've seen Charlotte play really since the beginning of the season, maybe all season, to be honest. I mean, they looked great. At no point did it appear to me anyway that DC was ever going to threaten us. It was concerning because literally the only opportunity that they had to score, they did. You would like to see Charlotte be able to at least withstand, that particular goal, and that made things a little bit closer late. But overall, I mean, it was as dominant as we have seen Charlotte play, really, like I said, all season. Definitely at least from the beginning parts of the season. But over the last couple of months, there has not been a better performance than what we watched last night. Maybe the kids kind of fired them up a little bit. I don't know. Definitely did for Pep Biel. So he scored the brace last night, scored both of the goals. That now gives him 19 goal contributions on the season. Next closest is Zaha at 12 for the team. So obviously we know Pep is king. He's been the best. Hopefully he had a new contract waiting on him in the locker room afterwards. I feel like it is time to get him his money, man. He has more than earned it. But yeah, I think
the all has.
Yeah, and to be fair, not just Pep, but the three up top with him, Zaha, and Toklamati, who honestly has come in and shown himself. He's been good, right?
Yeah, and I don't mean surprising in a bad way, but like definitely a great, refreshing surprise to see what he's brought to the table for sure. And also just to see how well they've acclimated to him being on the field.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different dynamic with him versus Ajaman, and of course we're going to compare the two a lot just given the situation. But again, he's just quicker. He tends to combine a little better, comes deeper into the midfield. I really like watching him play up top for Charlotte. I still think we probably need to get another striker in the transfer window, not necessarily to replace him, but just it's going to be hard to play the rest of the season with one striker that's really only 20 years old, doesn't have a lot of experience. You just kind of worry about him wearing down as the season goes on. So I think it makes sense to bring somebody in. But to be fair, he has been good. He certainly hadn't been the problem since he's come in. I think it took him a game or so to acclimate, but since then, hey, thumbs up for Toklamati for sure. And another thing, in actually both of the games I want to point out, I think Dean Smith did a phenomenal job in both with his substitutions. The first game, he brought him in and kind of reestablished everything. And same in this game, we got up 2-0. They scored the goal, DC did, to make it 2-1. And that's the only point in the game where it started to feel like it was teetering toward DC kind of taking control. He immediately brings in 3 subs. The most impactful certainly being Vargas. He was on fire last night when he came into the game. But once he brought those subs in, it reestablished the dominance that Charlotte had showed throughout the rest of the game, and it never at any point in the rest of the time felt like DC was going to score. So I thought that was tremendous. Got to give props to Vargas. Question for you. I know that's your guy. So he has been very good coming off of the bench the last 2 games, very impactful. Much more so than Abada, let's be honest. He has been much better than Abada in these games, and frankly, throughout the entire season, a lot more consistent. Do you think he deserves to start because he's played better, or do you kind of like his impact coming off the bench because it does seem like he is more impactful when he comes in later? What do you think?
I mean, that is a hard question. I mean, I think realistically, I think that as good as Vargas is, I don't necessarily think that he shouldn't not start. However, I do think he comes in with a different mentality versus when he's starting and then coming in later in the game. I do think he's very emotional with how he plays, but not in a bad way. I think it just really pushes him to play not aggressively, but he is very, very much on it. So that's a hard question. But no, I think I don't know. I think he definitely has a lot more energy and fire up under him when he's coming off the bench mid-game. However, I think we should. I think from a coaching point of view, I think that Dean Smith probably should give him the opportunity every once in a while to start. And I would say that is mainly just to keep up his mentality, truly. And it's just to kind of, I don't know, making sure that he is continuously feeling encouraged from a coaching point of view. But again, he's definitely a powerful player. And to be so young, he's got a great personality on the field and off the field. So I can appreciate that about him a lot. But I don't know, I guess it depends. I definitely like seeing him come off the bench and coming in, playing super powerful. And I do really think that's impactful for him to come off the bench mid-game. But I do think every once in a while he should start. Yeah,
I think it's, it is going to be game to game, I think, right? Yeah. I mean, some games surely he'll start just because, you don't want to play all of your players every game to start like an Abada. But I tend to lean toward him coming off the bench, not because I think he is the more impactful player between him and Abada, which kind of stinks to say because we paid so much for Abada compared to him. But his impact, like I said, I mean, you just saw it last night. He came into the game and instantly took over. He had 3 or 4 passes to the middle that were great. I mean, Toklamati got on the end of a couple good saves by the goalkeeper. Brandon Cambridge came in late and had a real sitter from Vargas that he just missed. I just think he seems to, when he starts, it's like he feels like he has to kind of grow into the game, and so maybe he's not quite as impactful. Whereas when he starts or when he comes in after the game has already started, it's like, I got to make my mark instantly, and he does, you know. And
that's a good way to put it.
You know, it's like, I think 30 minutes of Vargas playing like that is, in my opinion, more impactful than 60 minutes of him playing at, say, 85% of what he normally would, right? And so...
Okay, I can appreciate that point.
Yeah, so I really like it. I like him coming off the bench. Doesn't mean he can't start some games, but in my opinion, I like him coming off the bench and making... He can't start some games, but in my opinion, I like him coming off the bench and making the impacts that he has. Him, and I want to point out Tiger Smalls as well. I thought he came in and played really well last game as well. I thought he was, really pressing high and kind of just helping reestablish that dominance. Just wanted to make a note there, not saying Smalls is going to start next game or anything, but I did think he made a good impact as well. So,
I mean, I don't want to move away from this. I do want to go back to something in regards to the whole Abada, Vargas starting, who shouldn't. I would say this much, and maybe this is just me being super opinionated.
We like opinionated people on this show, so.
I know, that's why I'm here. But no, I really think that, and this is just me putting my looking from the outside in, but also trying to put myself in Vargas' shoes. But what I'm getting at is I think it would be really hard for me as a player to see someone that maybe does have a bit more experience than me on the field, and that I can appreciate, but someone on the field that has way more experience than me but isn't necessarily playing to their level of experience that they should be, or that they're getting compensated to play at. Like that would be really hard for me to see, knowing like what Vargas is being compensated at. And I'm not saying that he's not like compensated fairly,
but you ain't wrong. I mean, that would make anybody mad. I mean, in any sort of profession, right? If I'm getting paid half of what somebody that does my job worse than me, that's going to make
only because they're older and they've like played for a few more teams. Like, so I guess in that sense, it's I don't know. I wonder what goes on in Vargas' head.
He seems to handle it very well. You don't ever see him complain about playing time or anything like that. And he does get a good amount. He plays pretty much every game. It's just, again, it's 30 minutes versus, say, 60 or 70. But, I think so. Oh, and I forgot to point out something as well. The secret weapon, actually. I don't know how I forgot this. We'll put the picture, the screenshot in, Gabby. I'll send it to you. But new celebration is what the difference is. So when we score the first goal, Mark Allen here, instead of getting up and celebrating with everybody else clapping, I've learned all I got to do is sit on my hands and not celebrate. Why? Because we're going to score a goal every time, right? One goal is expected. Why am I going to celebrate the first goal? We know we're scoring that one.
What the hell? What the hell? What the hell?
And so I started that celebration in the NYCFC game. Obviously, we haven't lost since then. It's only been 2 games, I get that. But hey, that new celebration, new look on the field, 6 points in the bag. I mean, it's been a good week, right? So I meant to point that out earlier.
Maybe you'll be able to practice the celebration in Atlanta.
Do I now?
This weekend. I said maybe you'll be able to practice the celebration.
Oh, we're gonna practice it a lot in Atlanta. We're getting to Atlanta here in a second, but yeah, it will be in full effect. I can promise you that. More on the Atlanta game to come. Yeah, it is Atlanta week after all. Anything else to add to the recaps, though? Any other thoughts yet?
I think that's about it. I mean, other than, the United States men's national team, I mean, that happened.
That was a terrible game. Yeah, it happened, obviously, the last week. We weren't on last week, so we didn't get to really report it. But yeah, final, obviously, Mexico 2, USA 1. Wasn't even that close. Mexico completely dominated that game, to be fair. After the first 5 minutes when U.S. scored. So that did stink, but it wasn't altogether unexpected. Obviously, Mexico had their quote-unquote A team, right? They had pretty much everybody on the field that would normally be on the field versus the U.S. had players that probably won't be playing in the World Cup next year on the field. So it wasn't always a fair fight, but it was kind of disappointing to see how much Mexico dominated that game. But yeah, that's old news though. We don't care about that. We care about Charlotte right now, right? That's all that really matters.
Okay, let's get into Charlotte news then.
And speaking of Charlotte, we'll go ahead and move right into the news for the week. That was a pretty good segue there. And yeah, so jumping back into the Charlotte news for the week. So again, a good amount of news this week. A couple weeks off, we'll do that to you. And frankly, it's just been a newsworthy week. So we got transfer window opening up, so a lot of rumors are starting to kind of circulate. Get into those. But first, we'll go back. I guess we've already touched on it, but just kit release. Gabby, get a picture of the uniform. It was beautiful out there.
Oh, yeah.
I saw a lot of mixed reactions as it first came out from the fans. They were like, kind of gross, don't love it, think it's our worst kit. But when they stepped on the field in those uniforms and it got kind of dark,
good.
It was fire. They look nice out there. So yeah, just shout out the new unis, the Heritage kit. Shout out the 1981 Carolina Lightning, who kind of inspired this particular kit. They won the championship that year. Kind of the first professional soccer team in Charlotte. So again, shout out to New Heritage Kit. Looks great. Go buy it at the team store if you want.
Oh, yeah. I mean, okay, so I do have to tell you a few things.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you had news. Yeah, let's go with it. What about
it? I mean, it's not really news per se, but I don't, maybe I did or maybe I didn't. I think I mentioned that I had to go to a breakfast for work with CLTFC.
Yeah, she got to go to a breakfast with Tepper and the president of the MLS, by the way. So, yeah. Pretty awesome.
It's all work related. But because we're a sponsor of theirs, my company. But at the breakfast, they invited all of the living players from the Carolina Lightning, which was super cool.
That is amazing. That's great.
So, we were able to meet and chit chat with them. Studs. I'll just put that out there. They were hilarious. They were kind of like the guys you want to be when you're 70, 80 plus.
Our guys.
They were a great group of guys. They truly were. But a lot of them were European, which was kind of surprising. Because I guess I just didn't realize the impact that other nations had on American football or American soccer.
Football. Donald Trump said he was going to sign an executive order to make it football. So
I saw that. But so yeah, I just thought that was super cool. Just to kind of see them come and speak as well at that breakfast. But yeah, that was pretty much it. And then they wore their old uniforms too. I thought that was super cute.
Yeah, no, very cool. Very cool experience for Gabby and getting to see that and experience that, right? So love to see it. And like I said, love to see those unis. Also want to shout out Pep Biel. So he was named to the team of the Matchday yet again. So this is the fourth time this year that he has had such an award. So congrats to Pep. Obviously, that's the most we've ever had as a team. I think 3 was the most we've ever had. Probably 2 was the most. And he's just going to keep racking them up the way he's going right now. He cannot be stopped. The Moroccan magician is what we call him, right? So that's fun to say. Pep Biel, 4th time this year, team of the match day. So great job there. The big news that was announced at that luncheon that you were out, you want to go ahead and announce that one, Gabby?
Yeah, the 2026 MLS All-Star Game will be happening in Charlotte.
Right here.
And gosh, they're all downstairs, but I have the exclusive Charlotte FC MLS All-Star Game scarf, early release, downstairs. So I'll put a picture in there.
There you go.
I'll have to show it to you this weekend. But yeah, no, super cool. So we got to experience that and kind of hear firsthand from the MLS commissioner and David Tepper kind of what their thoughts and ideas are for that All-Star game. And then also, looking at the World Cup, what impact that's going to have on Charlotte FC. So, getting to understand a bit more, I guess from a business perspective, what they've got going on. Something cool that I wanted to tell you here, obviously, was that Tepper is actually proposing some new rule changes to the MLS. Not sure what those are because he kind of got in trouble for even mentioning it. But
top secret.
So yeah, that's a little inside scoop.
Yeah.
But yeah, not sure what those rules are. But yeah, he did hint at it during the breakfast. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe there's some changes to come in the MLS.
First reported by Gabby Mina, by the way. Yeah, right there.
Oh yeah. I mean, don't call it fake news.
No,
But no, but so kind of cool to see where maybe things go in the future with the MLS and rules and regulations. So we'll see. All of this is a legend, of course.
Absolutely. And yeah, just to kind of touch back on the All-Star Game. So obviously a huge opportunity for the city of Charlotte. I'm excited. I know everybody else, at least the fans are. Kind of funny, though, to watch Dean Smith. He doesn't even, coming from Europe, they don't have this kind of thing over there. He's like, what the hell's the All-Star Game? Like, he was like, he didn't even really care or know what it was. But he did, mention, obviously, this is cool for the fans. And it is, right? I mean, I'm excited. Charlotte is a soccer city. We always come out in droves to support the team and to see them reward us with this All-Star Game in the year of the World Cup as well, mind you. I mean, I just think that's going to have a tremendous impact. So I was very excited to see that. Thank you. What's the president's name? Don Garber, I believe is his name for the MLS. Yeah. So thank you for bringing it to Charlotte. We will not disappoint you. I can promise you that. But make sure you give me my seats. I better have my seats for the MLS. That's all I'm going to say.
So something that I thought was interesting, and maybe I just was naive and didn't know this, but obviously Don came to Tepper and Charlotte FC and also the city of Charlotte and kind of proposed having the All-Star Game here. So that is cool to see that they see Charlotte as a city and the team on the rise in Major League Soccer, which is super cool. But I also didn't realize that so apparently whatever city hosts the All-Star Game in the MLS, they have to put in a bid on all the different things that they're gonna, as a city, host during the week of the All-Star Game. So community events, music events, festivals, and that type of stuff within the city. So apparently Charlotte put in a super competitive bid, and so there's going to be a lot more going on.
They called it a week. They called it All-Star Week. Yeah, so I think it's going to be a whole bunch of activities going on during that week.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, it's still a long way away. We're talking next year, right? Right now, I'm still just focused on Atlanta a couple days from now. But, yeah, I mean, just huge overall. Like I said, congrats to the city. I'm excited. I hope everybody else is as well. And then kind of last thing I had on the news for this week, I've seen it now, 2-3 times on Twitter. So, when you start to see it circulate more than once, it seems to be a little bit more legs behind it. But I am so sorry if I get your name wrong, sir, but it is Georgis Yakimakis is kind of rumored that he may be coming to Charlotte. He is a striker for Cruz Azul out of the Mexican League. He actually played for Atlanta United a couple of years ago. He is a very talented striker, but some of the other kind of later reports that I've seen is that he wants to come here. We may not want him to come here. I don't know if that's true or not. It's a little bit awkward with that, but I do think we are going to try to sign a striker at some point during this, free agency or signing period. Whether it's Yakimakis or somebody else remains to be seen. But again, I've seen that now reported 2, 3, 4 different times on Twitter. And so it does seem that there's some legs there. We'll see if it happens or we'll see if it's somebody else, right? Who knows, right? There's going to be a lot of rumors going in the next week or two as the transfer window does open, but definitely worth noting. That really kind of closes out the Charlotte news for the week. So I guess we'll just jump right on, moving forward to the around the league. It's been like 3 weeks, or well, I guess really only 2 weeks, but there's been 3 or 4 games that have happened, per team since we really last recorded. I don't think you guys need to know about all of the other ones. So I just kind of picked 3 or 4 teams that highlight, what has happened, and I'll kind of go through those. So, on Saturday of this past week, Miami did beat Nashville. You guys know how high I am on Nashville this year, but Miami did beat them 2-1. This was Messi's. You want to talk about somebody out of this planet? We just talked about Biel having a brace, one brace. Well, Messi's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 braces in a row. Just absurdity from Lionel Messi. He is the GOAT for a reason. Great work there. Had to call him out, but yeah, great work. 5 straight braces. Columbus beat Cincinnati in the Hell is Real rivalry, 4-2. Obviously, those are 2 top teams. Cincy actually took the lead 2-0 in this game, and then 4 straight goals by Columbus. to close it out. So 4-2 victory Columbus there. However, they followed that up with a 3-0 loss to Nashville, who we just mentioned. So kind of closing the circle there, right? So kind of a, I don't know what you call that, tale of two games for Columbus. But, yeah, like I said, kind of closing that up. And then what about Atlanta? Obviously, that's the opponent we got coming in. What did you see from them in the last game?
I mean, 3 straight draws. I mean, nothing too hot.
3 straight
gives
draws,
me a little bit of confidence for the weekend, so we'll see.
The one thing that I did want to note, though, that I have 2 of their last 2 games they've drawn because they scored goals in stoppage time. We know how much that has troubled Charlotte in the last couple of months as far as conceding late goals. So just make sure we play all 90 plus the stoppage time against them because they are scoring late goals. But to your point, yeah, they are obviously not winning very many games. 3 straight draws, not a lot of wins to show. And then we'll kind of bring that right up to the standings. So as you see, Western Conference first for us. San Diego is leading the way, only by a point. Very tight race at the top with Vancouver. Keep an eye on LAFC down there in 4th. Remember, they played in the Club World Cup. By the way, shout out Chelsea. We didn't do that. Chelsea beat PSG 3-0 in that final. Wow. Great job by them. But anyway, LAFC beating that. They're 3 games behind everybody in the Western Conference because of that. So even though they're sitting in 4th, know that they can shoot up the standings pretty quick when they make up those other games. And then I wanted to also make a note on Colorado. I've watched them. They're only in 7th place. You're like, Mark, why do you they're 7th place? I think they're coming. I like that team. They destroyed Vancouver on Saturday. They seem to have it going right now. I know they beat Charlotte like a drum when we went there, early in the season when Charlotte was actually playing well. So watch them in 7th. That's all I'll say about that. And then, Gabby, what you got for the East?
Well, I mean, we didn't even touch on San Diego still continuing to be as good as they are.
That's
I've got to
fair.
give them their flowers. I think it's just so cool. First season, inaugural season, and they're leading the Western Conference. And I just want to be very clear, like the Western Conference is such a competitive, group of teams. It's kind of like the SEC, they would say, to the,
Perhaps. I still think the East is strong top to bottom, but those top 4 to 5 teams in the West, you're not wrong. They're very good, and for them to lead all of them, very impressive. Obviously, I would say they probably have, it's hard to say Messi's not the MVP to a certain degree, but at the same time, Anders Dryers for them, that guy's got 15 assists so far this season. I mean, he is, absolutely killing it for that team. So, do shout out San Diego. Sorry, I should have given them a little bit more shine. Correct. But
back to the East. Charlotte's sitting in 9th. So
back in the playoffs. Barely.
Yes. Hanging on by a thread. Definitely not where I want us to be, but hopefully this weekend we climb the ladder a bit more. But Philly's also only leading over Cincinnati by 1.
Yeah, very close.
And they're first, which is kind of cool. And then Miami is in 5th right now, currently.
But with those same 3 games in hand from the Club World Cup. So they're them and LAFC, it's almost like you look at them in 4th and 5th, but are they really in 4th or 5th? Because they've played so few games compared to the other teams,
Exactly.
So there is that.
And I do want to touch on Atlanta being in 13th. Hopefully that helps us out a little bit this weekend. I'd like to think that it will, but we'll see. I know our guys get ahead of ourselves too sometimes, so we'll see. But yeah, so.
Okay, yeah, well that's good. Yeah, so those are kind of our standings for the week. And then we'll just move that right into the number 1 segment, why everybody comes. It's the preview, match week preview time. And it is hate week. It is Atlanta. Rivalry renewed, right? So you guys all know we already beat them in the reverse fixture 2-0. Zaha Biel credited with the goals in that game. That was the home opener, actually. Great game. I was there. I know you were there as well. So great time there. Guess what? We're also going to be there in Atlanta this week. So Gabby, myself, her boyfriend, and then my friend Henry, we're all going down there together. And then really the entire Section 233, shout all you guys out. We're all going to be down there partying, having a good time. watching Charlotte hopefully, kick some Atlanta butt, right? That's the plan. So it is a rivalry. You got to, be in it. You got to, they're going to be ready to play. But I think, for at least Charlotte, they're going to have so much support in this game. I mean, I don't know how many thousands are going from Charlotte, but it seems like everybody I have talked to is going to this game down to Atlanta. So I think they're going to have tremendous support down there. I think they're going to be able to feed on that. But just to kind of get into some of the X's and O's, you had mentioned they are sitting in 13th place, right? 13th out of 15 in the conference. So obviously they have not had a very good season. By the way, DC was in 14th place. Atlanta is in 13th place. And then we do play Toronto next week, who is in 12th place. This needs to be 9 points from Charlotte overall in those games, and really 12 out of the last 4 games, right? So we played all those tough games. Obviously, we didn't have the results that we wanted through those months, but now we're coming out the other end. We're going to have a lot more home games, and we're having easier opponents to play. Take advantage of it, right? We have to be able to take advantage of these games, close that gap, get closer to that 4th, 5th place where we really belong, in my opinion. But back on the Atlanta, they're 13th in the league in goals scored, so not a lot of threats. They are 9th in expected goals, so they do create a little bit more opportunities than they're actually producing on the field, right? So just kind of keep that in mind. I also, I was kind of looking through the stats. They are last in free kicks, which maybe that doesn't mean anything, but to me it just means they're not a super aggressive team. You watch them play, they kind of patiently, just patter it around the back line a little bit. They're not offering a lot moving forward. They're not trying to take you on. Like a Zaha, for instance. Zaha leads the league in fouls against, right? He gets fouled constantly, giving us free kicks. They don't do that, right? They just don't have players that are going to break you down and really beat you one-on-one. They're trying to find the passes, find the lanes, find the space. That's really the way that Atlanta's going to try to beat Charlotte, in my opinion. Their top players, of course, they did sign the record signer in the offseason, Emmanuel Latte Lot. I think they signed him for $22 million to not get a lot of production, to be fair.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Miguel Almiron, who they paid, I think, 12, 13 mil. He was rumored to come to Charlotte, right, before he ended up nixing that and going to Atlanta. Those are still their top players. Both of them have combined, or a piece rather, 7 goal contributions. Remember how I just said Pep Biel has 19? So yeah, you'd have to basically triple their goal contributions to equal 1 Pep Biel. So again, they don't have a lot of, players out there that are just, hey, yeah, they're going to put the ball in the back of the net. At least they haven't shown that so far this season. Anything else to add on that?
I mean, I'm just excited to see how they play. I really am. I'm excited to see just Pep dominate and be 3 of their players all at once. So, but seriously, I really am. I think that the guys have some great opportunities, especially with how we've seen them play recently. So I am very excited. And also knowing that there is going to be a ton of Charlotte fans there is also really encouraging, because I know Charlotte tends to play on the road. But knowing that they are going to have some of that home support there. I know I was talking to one of our reps that I work with at Charlotte, and they're sending a lot of buses down with our supporter section. So that is super exciting to hear. So hopefully that helps keep morale up since we'll be on the road. But at the same time, I definitely want our guys to go into it with a good mindset and not kind of take for granted the fact that Atlanta's in the position that they're in. So that would be my only concern, is just them jumping the gun and thinking that they've got this in the bag, when we've seen far too many times that that's not always the case for Charlotte.
Absolutely not. Yeah, they got to be on their A game at the end of the day. I mean, like I said, it is a rivalry game. Atlanta's going to be up for it, you imagine. But yeah, to me, Charlotte, go to their house, take over their house. Our fans are going to do that, and you take over that game. That's the way I look at it, right? Have that mentality. This is a home game for Charlotte. That's the way I'm looking at it. I hope they do as well on the pitch. So really what I think is going to be important, though, I did take this note, right? So treat it like a home game, yes. Controlled build up from the back without any of those silly giveaways, right? If we give the ball away at the top, I know Latte Lot hadn't had the best season, but he is capable. They paid $20 million for him for a reason. Don't give the ball and just have him, on a silver platter with the ball. He will put it in the net. And then the last one there is the sub. So again, Dean Smith, I think, has been great with the subs the last couple of games. Be great again. I mean, this is our third game in a week. There's going to be tired legs out there. We hadn't played 3 games in a week, quite a while. And so I'm sure there's going to be, tired legs out there. When he brings those subs on, that's going to be a very big, impactful time. And so, bringing in fresh legs, I think is going to be a huge boost in this game. Which team does it better, I think, could hold the edge to a certain degree. So just wanted to make that note. As for the prediction, same prediction I had last week. You guys didn't see it, but I did predict 3-1 last week. Obviously, we only won 2-1. I'm going 3-1 this week, though. So I got Charlotte 3. I got Atlanta 1. Goal scorers for Charlotte, the big 3 that we've talked about most of this episode, right? Zaha, Pep Biel, Toklamati. All 3 of them are going to get on the score sheet. That's going to be the victory, in my opinion. What do you think, Gabby?
I mean, I'm gonna have a lot of confidence and say that it's gonna be 3-0.
Okay, love that. I hope we
get to see that happen. I think that would just be great. Goal scorers, I'm gonna go 2 Pep and let's say 1 Vargas.
Boy, I like that. Yeah, come in and get that 3rd goal for us at the end, close it up, wrap it up. I think that's a good idea as well. I almost said Abada just because the best game that Abada's played in his career for Charlotte was this game last year in Atlanta. He scored a brace that won it for Charlotte. And so, but it kind of half joking. We haven't seen the form from him this last few games, in my opinion, to suggest that he's going to score. So didn't actually put him on the score sheet, but hey, wouldn't mind if you got there, Abada. Would love to see it. We're paying you enough to do it. So I think that's it. Unless you have anything else, any more tidbits from the president or Tepper, like anything else that we need to have on the show.
I mean, I think that maybe that about covers it. I can't think of anything else.
Oh, I got one. Just one quick one. Next week, when we are back at home against Toronto, your boy Kerwin Vargas has the backflip bobblehead giveaway for that game. So I'll probably touch more on that next week. But that's cool. It's a pretty sweet looking bobblehead. But don't know why that mattered, but it just popped in my head and wanted to throw it out there. So I think that's it, though, guys. Cool. As always, appreciate you all watching. If you haven't already, like and subscribe. Hope to see you in Atlanta this week for Charlotte's beatdown of the 5 Stripes. If we don't, we'll see you here next week. As always, for the crown.